Hello and welcome to video number 16, me learning how to use the Digitone 2 and passing on to you all my tips and tricks as I do so. This is really just a follow-on video from video 15 because in that video I dealt specifically with the chord mode but also touched on the note edit. I kind of skimmed over it a little bit, so I thought that I would spend some time today dealing with note edit properly. So just from a normal view here, I've got the trig page in view. Press the note edit button and we get what's on step 1 of this pattern, and you can clearly see that there's a chord here. There are 3 notes stacked one on top of the other here. I dealt with changing the note last time. I'll do it again in this video so to make sure you don't have to look at the other one as well. The A and the E encoder work on this. Let's just listen to what we've got here. Just a simple 1-bar pattern. So if I hold function and yes, we hear what's on this step. You can see step 1 flashing there. So 3 notes making this chord of A minor, A, C and E. If I wanted to change any of the notes, I simply use the down arrows, up arrows to bring that note up, and I can simply rotate the A encoder. Now if I rotate it like that, you can see it's going up, bring it back. And I can also rotate the E encoder, same thing. And I pointed out last time that if you go to a note that's not in the mode, this particular song, if I go to function and keyboard setup, so I've scrolled back to the normal mode, you can see I'm in A Aeolian. So if I scroll to a note that's not in that mode, now you may know that A Aeolian is the same as C major, C Ionian, so there are no sharps. So if I go to a note that's got a sharp, like this one, we get the exclamation mark up to just warn us that that note's not in that scale. Okay, so let's just bring it back to E again. If I push down on the A encoder or the E encoder, they suggest the E encoder, but really it doesn't make any difference. If I push down on this encoder and rotate, it will only bring up notes that are in that mode. No sharps are coming up. As soon as I let go and turn, then we'll have our sharp notes coming up. Okay? Okay, so that's changing the note. If you've got more than one note and you want to change a parameter for all the notes, you hold function down. Now when I rotate the E, you can see they all change. On the side there you can see a virtual keyboard, and you can see that the E is flashing because that's the one I've got highlighted, and the C and the A are not. So if I move down to the C note, now you can see that the C note is flashing on the virtual keyboard, and now the A. See? That's pretty good, isn't it? So if you want to go to a step that's got something recorded on it, hold function and right arrow. Now I've got a single note on step 3 out of the 16, and it's this note of A5. See? Now let's just go back to our first step. By the way, if you just hold the right arrow, you just go step by step, and if there's nothing recorded on that step, it says press keys 1 to 16 to add notes. See, there's something there, nothing there, chord there, etc. Let's go back to our first chord. Now the next parameter over on the right is labeled time. This can be altered with the F encoder or the B encoder. So this changes the time where the note appears in the bar. So if I rotate the F encoder, you'll see the time move up on the E note, and you can take it up to 23. Let's take it up about halfway. Let's take it up to 13. Let's see what happens now. Now what's happened is it's moved that E5, that note of E, further down the line. Let's move it right up as far as I can, which is 23. So I think it's moved it on to the next semiquaver, hasn't it? Yeah. the next semiquaver, and you can move it back. So if I bring this to a minus amount, let's see what happens there. To bring it to minus 23. Right, what happens is and if you push down on this, it jumps in fours, I think, yeah. And obviously if you set these to different amounts, you'll get a kind of a rippling effect. So let's leave the A where it is. We'll come to the C, we'll take that up to, say, 12, and we'll come up to the E and bring that up to 23. So you get that rippling effect by doing that, because the A is coming in on 0, the C is coming in on 12, and the E on 23. So they're kind of staggered, if you like. Okay, let's reset those. Now the C and G encoders, they are concerned with the length of the notes, the value of the notes, and at the moment they are set to 16ths semiquavers, you see? So let's come down to the A and make this note so it lasts for a whole crotchet. So push in on the actual encoder itself and it will jump in increments. See, coming up to a quarter. Now, if you listen carefully, you'll hear that this A lasts for 4 times as long as the other 2 notes. Can you hear that? It's a bit hard to hear, but that A is lasting for a whole crotchet, whereas the C and the E are only lasting for semiquavers. Let's reset this. Just so you know about the values, the crotchet is a quarter, which is 4 on here. If you go to 8 in the values, that is a minim, half. So now that note will last for 2 beats. See? And if you take it to 16, that's a whole bar. Push in, quicker amounts. Now that is a whole bar. Okay, so we'll bring that back, push down, rotate to the left. Now the final 2 encoders both do the same thing, D and H. Okay, these change the velocity. Now at the moment it's set to 100. So if I rotate the H encoder on this A note, you'll see that it'll go up to 127, which is the maximum. So you probably wouldn't want that. You'd probably want all notes to go to the same amount. Now, so if I want to change the velocity, which is essentially the volume of this entire chord, hold down the function button and rotate the H encoder to the left. If I push in, it goes down in 4s. Now this chord will be a lot quieter. See? Bring it up again, push down, and there's the maximum. Bring it back to what it was. Now there's a couple of functions that probably you won't be able to see here because the notes are already set. So the E and F encoders, you can change the order either by time or by pitch. If I've got the same micro timing on more than one note, supposing I bring this one to 3 and this one to 3, like that. So those 2 notes are going to speak, if you like, a tiny bit later. Now I'm going to press yes to select that note. You see it's flashing. And now I can move the down arrow to move it. So I'm going to move this E note and it's moved down to the bottom. I can move it up. See, so those 2 notes have the same micro timing, so I could, I could move the order of the notes. Okay. By the way, just as an aside, so we're on chord memory here. This transpose function here. So we know that if we rotate the F encoder, we can transpose the chords like that, one at a time, one semitone at a time. But if you use the transpose buttons down here, the transpose keys, you bring the chord, up and down an octave. So that is the end of today's video, pretty short. I just felt that in my last video I didn't really spend enough time on this note edit mode. I didn't really do it justice. It's very full featured, isn't it? There's lots you can do with it. I wanted to spend a bit more time on that, showing you all the features of the note edit. So if you got something out of today's video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. If you feel like you'd like to help me on my way a little bit, it'd be great if you could give me a small donation, either here on YouTube or preferably on my website, which is www.daddylonglegs.com. Thank you very much for watching, and you'll see me in my next video.